idea who you are dealing with.
Enlighten me.
In 2009, Thomas barreled into CGI with the first of many CGI movies, Hero of the Rails. The animation for the most part is pretty good for its time, to be fair, and you could tell Greg and the boys at Nitrogen enjoyed making it. Genuine effort was put into this. But that's usually the main selling point of Hero of the Rails. The first CGI movie, the first to be fully animated, the first to use a full voice cast. Shh, f*** off you. The first thing in a list of many things. But visuals exist to tell a story. And was the story of Hero of the Rails a good one?
Well, no.
Like, I don't love Hero of the Rails, but I don't hate it either. I think it's a bit harsh to say anyone hates it, and I don't think anybody does, to be fair.
The story isn't amazing, the story isn't terrible, the story is like a pizza.
What did you say?
Let me explain. So, we're going to shelve the non-pizza, non-CGI items on the menu and focus on just the pizza CGI choices in our menu of Thomas specials. You have your top dog choices here, your experimental choices here and here, your pineapple pizza options here, and finally you have your in-betweeners-esque margarita choices, which includes Hero of the Rails. This is a nice simple choice. It's satisfactory, doesn't really do anything to irritate you, but it just can't sit on the same pedestal as the other top dog specials. I'm going to put this back in the oven and discuss why this is the case, starting with...
Then, the old engine smiled at him. It was a little frightened smile, but it made the old engine look kind and gentle, and it made Thomas feel less scared.
Spencer was amazed. He wasn't expecting Thomas to be cheery.
Hero's engine had started to clatter and clunk. His steam dome shook and his cylinders creaked. Hero was worried.
Narration is like salt. It's good to have it, but should only be used sparingly. This is Big World Big Adventures. Zero salt. This is something like Journey Beyond Sodor, a decent amount of salt. And this is Hero of the Rails. I found this movie very tricky to sit through after so many years, because the narrator just never shuts up. It nearly talks like 20 times in the final chase scene, that's how bad it is. And honestly, it kinda drags down some moments for the worst. Like take this one for example.
It's Spencer! I don't want him to see me. He'll wonder what I'm doing with this old cylinder.
Thomas huffed his boiler.
I was actually amazed that there was one short scene near the end of the movie with zero narration in it, and it worked so well just letting the characters emote and speak. This is the first CGI special where they can be more expressive, so why not let it happen? To be fair, the show did catch on and did reduce the narration in later movies, to be fair, showing that we should just involve the narrators, but also keep them at a distance.
How much of a distance?
In my Blue Mountain video, I praised how well set up Spencer is as a villain. He's there from the start and becomes a constant obstacle for Thomas and Co to deal with. But here's my problem with him.
That engine will be sent to the smelter's yard, where he belongs.
Why? Why does he want this to happen? I don't know guys, this just never seemed right to me. Spencer's breaking the bro code here. Like, why does he want a fellow steam engine scrapped? What does he gain from this? Thomas hated Ryan and lost treasure, but still saved him from exploding dynamite before they reconciled, showing that redeemable steam engine characters do not try to off each other, and even just pure villains just seem to aspire to bench some at most. Let's try and break it down a little as to why Spencer is the way he is. Okay, so he loves showing off and annoying everyone, but when his taunts stop working, you can tell the lack of reaction gets to him. But again, how does this lead to him wanting to delete an old man? He already got his win against Thomas early on, so there was no pride to reclaim or anything. Overall, good setup, good resolution, but just a shaky motive that I'm going to work on later on. Hero being written as one of the first steam engines on Sodor is not a major problem in this story.
You mean? Yes.
No, my actual last critique is that the plot is kinda predictable, he says while talking about a kids show movie. And yeah, they are. Mario saves Luigi, Tim finds his dad, Lightning beats Storm... Oh, wait. Yeah, that still bugs me. What I mean is, there was never any doubt that Hero was ever truly fucked.
You did everything you could, Thomas. But I know now. I will be sent to the smelter's yard.
No. No, you won't. I won't let that happen to you. I promise.
If you're a Thomas fan, you immediately know Topham will repair a steam engine, regardless of their condition. We see this happen 3 times prior in this movie alone, where at most the worst that happens is a little scolding. And if you never watched Thomas before, you kinda get the impression that this isn't a world where characters get unalived anyway.
So long, Thomas! It's been a blast!
As a result, the stakes of this movie are a bit anticlimactic. Like, you know full well Hero's going to restore. There was never any doubt this wasn't going to happen. But to be fair, I think you can still watch this movie and still enjoy how Hero gets restored in the end. Like, he's a very endearing character, so seeing him restored to full glory is a genuinely wholesome moment. It doesn't ruin the movie for me, and it's why it's just a nitpick, and why ultimately I feel the movie isn't awful, but does have elements working against it to make it truly great. The ending is genuinely great. While Hero being fixed was predictable, this part wasn't. I remember the ending being leaked back in 2009 and going, oh no, Hero leaves at the end? Hero is quite endearing, and I loved how respectful his departure is. It's cleverly foreshadowed early on, so it doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere. And while I don't think Hero the Rails overall is a top tier movie, I honestly think its ending is one of the best out there. Like, usually the characters are always gathered to celebrate something being built or something, but this is the only time they gather together to celebrate someone leaving. And before you say it, his abrupt return in a few episodes later in season 13 is not a fault in the movie. Next up, Spencer's conclusion as a villain. Problems aside with his motives of wanting to delete an old man, I quite like how they handle his defeat.
What about Spencer? He needs help too.
I told Spencer not to leave the summer house, and he did. So Spencer must wait his turn for help after Hero.
I love how they deliberately leave him there for a while. Like, it's a very Audrey-esque punishment, and despite his questionable motives, I like that they emphasise he isn't evil. Like, this guy is an asshole, but he's not truly evil. This last praise then is kind of predictable, but I'm going to say it anyways. I like the sense of teamwork the main cast has in this. It sounds kind of sappy, but I think the best moments in this movie are when the characters are sticking up for each other.
Thomas is not a toy.
Thomas, is everything all right?
You won't have to be alone anymore.
Thank you, Thomas. You understand me well.
I'll always help you, my friend. What is it you need?
Hero, I won't let you be scrapped. Believe me. Tonight, I will fix everything. Well done, Gordon!
Thank you, Thomas!
If you'd never watched Thomas before, you can still get the believable feeling that these guys have been friends for a long time, and it really shows. I can't properly rework this movie, but I do have some ideas on how it could be fixed a little bit. So, Hero. When I think of a Japanese engine on a British island, I think definitely the doings of a rich guy.
But wait a second, we do have a rich guy in this movie. 2 of them!
So hear me out. What if Hero was owned by the Duke and Duchess?
Seriously, let's think about this. Imagine if Hero was owned by the grandparents of the Duke and Duchess back then. He was their private engine, but one day broke down while on Sodor and was forgotten to time. In other words, similar to Duke.
Oh, hello there!
Until Thomas stumbles upon him one day. Hero desires to be useful again, but is scared at the idea of his present-day owners disowning him in his current state. While the Fat Controller would not hesitate to scrap an engine, these blank slates believably could. We don't know these people enough, they could be that petty. I'm going off the mindset that an engine desires to be useful to their owners, much like the toys in Toy Story. As a result, the concept of just giving Hero to top him doesn't cross their minds whatsoever. You'll probably guess where I'm going with this also, and yes, I'm also trying to give Spencer a motive. I cannot understand this guy wanting to end Hero's life, so here's my theory. Spencer finds out about Hero during the plot and feels immediately threatened. He's very dedicated to the Duke and Duchess and fears the worst for his status as their private engine. The idea of being replaced by a family heirloom engine terrifies him. He's able to beat Thomas in a game of speed and power, but feels deeply under pressure when the thing that truly matters most to him is at stake.
You're going to tell the Duke and Duchess about that silly scrap engine, aren't you? I'll get there first to make sure your plan doesn't work. I'm their private engine and nobody's taking that away from me. Not him, and especially not you.
We see this in Great Discovery and Lost Treasure. When an engine loses what matters most to them, it devastates them. Spencer's not truly evil, but I do like that he can become angry and a force to be reckoned with if pushed to his limit. What I could understand is Spencer wanting to put a stop to Hero being restored if doing so would put him out of a job. He doesn't necessarily want him scrapped, just permanently benched. And when all's said and done, Spencer apologises and is reassured that he was never going to be replaced. It's all good here and the Duke and Duchess still care about him. Everyone asks Hero what he'd like to do, and much like the original, he requests to go home, having missed it for so long. He still belongs to the Duke and Duchess, and much like Topham, they desire what's best for their engines. This isn't a perfect rewrite to the movie or anything, but I won't lie, I became more invested in the idea the more I thought about it, and I hope you guys agree. Hero of the Rails isn't a brilliant movie, but it's not a terrible movie either. It has sweet moments, and above else will always be a nice start to the CGI era of the show. You know, given how genuine the first CGI movie was, it really makes me wonder what the last one was like, and... Can you tell I don't like that movie? Might cover that one sometime. And that's it. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you all next time. I have a model series video on the way, and I hope you'll enjoy it when it's finally ready to enter YouTube screens.